All right, guys, let's get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Ravi, and I'm going to be your instructor for this demonstration and the entire course. Uh, before we get going, may I have a small confirmation that everybody is able to hear me clearly? Am I clearly audible, guys? Yeah, please put it on chat. Yeah, yeah. Please let me know if I am not audible. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So before we jump into any of these, let's quickly understand Hadoop developer. Hadoop. If you basically pursue Hadoop developer, what you would be doing is, and your prerequisites are, you should know Java. Your real prerequisite is Linux, even if you don't know anything else. Your real prerequisite has to be SQL and ETL. Now this role is tough to define because data scientist is the guy who's creating his work.
Hey, Ravi,
Yeah.
I think your screen is not moving, Ravi. Can you check it out? Can you check with the candidates?
Screen. So you're not able to see anything on my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen
That
moving?
MapReduce Hadoop development.
So what is that you see
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now on
it's
the
okay
screen?
now. Yeah, it's fine now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. The prerequisites are stats, one stats language like R, you know Hadoop. You should know at least one business domain. So these are the four roles that Hadoop has to offer to you. These are the four roles that are for offering. Okay. Now, what this course would do is, let's look at this. So including what you call the hands-on exercise assignment, we'll spend 20 hours on Hadoop fundamentals. Then we'll move to Hadoop development. We'll spend around 12 hours. Hadoop data analysis, we'll spend 12 hours. Then Hadoop administration, around 12 hours. So the idea is, guys, what we would be doing is, along with assignments, we would be anywhere doing this course between 55 to 60 hours. Okay. Now, two things. Two important points. The course does not take you through to become a data scientist, because data scientist is less of technical work, more of mindset as to how you crunch numbers and all that stuff. So that is something we just take you through, like 10 to 15 percentage of what data scientists would require. Second thing, so these are few aspects that are important for this course. So yes, when you take up a course, uh, this is what you learn, these are the areas, and this is the goal of the course. By the end of the course you will be able to exactly weigh, oh, these are the areas, how do I go about it, how they do stuff, and everything. But yes, that alone won't get you through a job or maybe the next level. You'll have to put some effort on your own side to basically make sure that you are approved. Okay, so let's get started now. So what we do in this course is, it's called Hadoop Development, Administration, and BI. So what we start with is, we start with the basics of Hadoop. So we talk about what is big data, we talk about what is Hadoop, Hadoop ecosystem, we talk about multi-node setup, and we'll talk about cluster planning. And during this course, I'll give you a CentOS based virtual machine where you can, basically play with it and install Hadoop and everything. Phase two of the course, we get into the MapReduce part. So we talk about what is MapReduce, how it works, and all that stuff. Phase three is where we will get into Pig and Hive. We'll talk about what is Pig, how to make it work, and then we'll use Pentaho, which is an ETL tool, just like Data Stage or Informatica, and we will see how to connect that to Hadoop. And at the end, we'll get into administration, where I'll show you what is FIFO, what is FAIR, talk about basic log monitoring and log management, and cluster maintenance. So that would be it. Okay, so let's get started. Let's have a small sneak peek of this course, and uh, then I'll leave it to you to basically ask any questions if you have. All right, we'll start with the introduction. So this is phase one of the course. Typically, we'll talk about what is big data, what is Hadoop, Hadoop ecosystem, HDFS and MapReduce deeper dive, and questions. So the first goal of this particular course for me is to introduce you to what exactly is big data, introduce you to Hadoop, explain how Hadoop works, get friendly with HDFS and MapReduce, get aware of the Hadoop ecosystem, and understand how Hadoop is used in real world. A bit about myself. My name is Ravi. Soon 9 years into IT. Couple of years we've been doing corporate trainings also. Um, Cloudera certified Hadoop developer, Cloudera certified Hadoop administrator, Cloudera certified HBase specialist, and MapR certified M5 administrator. Earlier in my career, I was certified on Java and PHP. So let's talk about what exactly is big data. But before that, let's talk about why big data deserves your attention. Now, as per IDC, big data market would be $24 billion by 2016. Big data would create 4.4 million new jobs by 2015. And let's not talk of 2 years and 3 years. As of this very moment, United States alone is facing a shortage of 200,000 big data professionals. So, irrespective of which phase of career you are in and what area of work you are in, everyone has some or the other role to play in this particular industry of big data. So, what exactly is big data? Well, in the most simplistic terms, big data is the amount of data a single machine cannot process. Okay, so if your company had all the resources, okay, and money, still there is a limitation to how big a single server can they buy. Okay, so just a minute, we have a question. Yes, Imran, give me a minute. Yeah, give me a minute. Yeah, this is like, we'll just see one slide and I'll open up for questions. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just give me 1 minute here. Okay, so data that has basically the amount of data that one machine is not able to handle. So let's say, in spite of having all the resources, max your company can go for is few terabytes of disk and few gigs of RAM. But what big data talks about is data that is really petabyte scale, and storing and analyzing that data. Okay, so data that is extra large volume comes from variety of sources, variety of formats, and comes at us with great velocity is normally referred as big data. So the first obvious dimension is big data means lot of data. The second dimension is variety, in which data comes to your system from variety of sources. And the third dimension is velocity. Data comes to your system at really, really great speed. So these are a reiteration. Three characteristics of big data. First, volume. For data to be referred as big data, generally the volume of the data has to be massive. Variety. For data to be referred as big data, generally the data would be semi-structured and may originate from sources, variety of sources and variety of formats. And third is velocity. For data to be referred as big data, the rate at which data comes to the system is really, really fast. Okay. So you have one physical server, but the amount of data is massive. Data comes to your system really, really fast, and data comes from all over the place. That's variety. So this is big data. So this was a sneak peek in the course, and now I'm open for any questions that you guys have. So yes, Imran, I'm unmuting you. Give me a minute. Yeah, Imran, go ahead.
Hey Ravi, thanks for giving a brief overview. One of the questions that I have, which pops up, to my mind is you said uh, we feel to rent a home. Is that something finally the infrastructure, or what I'm trying to understand is the philosophy behind Hadoop. Uh, I was under the impression that there are no ETL requirements. The analysis is done at the source, and the results are propagated to the central cluster, which is just trying to analyze data, be it structured or unstructured. So maybe if you can touch base a little bit about the overview you gave, the skill sets and the prerequisites that are required, they're pretty good. But what I'm trying to understand is how the Hadoop cluster is different from traditional data warehouses which hold a few terabytes of data.
You mean to say how your voice keeps on going and coming? So is it like how Hadoop is different from typical warehouses and other distributed systems? Is that the question, Imran?
Yeah, ETL. Yes, that's exactly what the question is.
Okay. First thing, here is the idea. So let's very in a very simple way put it this way. So let's say we have a gentleman called Mr. Dude. Hmm? Now, and we have an elephant. Now, if chair was to be picked up, who will do it faster? If chair was to be picked up, if there is a chair and that was picked up, will Mr. Dude do it faster or elephant do it faster? It will be Mr. Dude. Okay. But if a massive wooden log will have to be picked up. Mr. Dude does not even stand a chance. Okay, and elephant can easily pick that. Now apply the same analogy to data warehouses and Hadoop. Data warehouses are great, but are limited to amount of data that can process and be stored. Maybe a few petabytes, not petabytes, terabytes only. It does not go to petabyte. Now, what if the data was to be say 20 petabytes? Traditional data warehouses will not even stand a chance. Okay, so the idea is that where your traditional ETL gives up on the size of data, you know you are moving into big data zone. Okay, so let me just give you one slide to explain you that. So if you really see, most enterprises, they look like this. In fact, every enterprise looks like this. They do things in a different way. That's fine. You have your web servers, you have your OLTP, and so all the web servers are writing data to an OLTP. Then you have an ETL process. It's a magical ETL process that companies do. They have their process to basically load data into a data warehouse and then model it and all that stuff. And then you have your OLAP that goes to a reporting tool. On a high level, Hadoop is not a replacement for ETL. Hadoop is something that facilitates ETL. Till yesterday, your ETL would go for like maybe 10 terabytes, 20 terabytes, 50 terabytes. But what Hadoop gives you is a capability to scale to, let's say, even 50 petabytes. So, what happens is your sources have increased, and now Hadoop can take all this data, okay, and let's say parallelly you will have a warehouse. Hadoop will process all this petabyte scale data and give you those golden nuggets, which would basically be then given to the data warehouse ideally, and then you have your OLAP. So Hadoop is something that's facilitating ETL process. So it's ETL. So Hadoop is where a lot of transformation of petabyte scale of data happens.
Ravi, a follow-up question. Um, are there any limitations on how much the Hadoop cluster can handle data? Like, say if I have like, 5 or 6 sources, a lot of tweets are coming in, a lot of, unstructured data is available, uh, and, what is the, performance expectation as to when that data will be aggregated and will be available in the data warehouse?
Yeah, one. One. Okay, so how much data can it store?
Yeah, like what I'm trying to understand is
Yeah, yeah,
the
I'm getting it.
replacement for ETL. Then
So
if you're saying it's a replacement for ETL, like how much data can it analyze? What kind of intelligence is already built into the cluster, and how actually it does the aggregation stuff is what I'm trying to understand.
on a high level, in existing production version, you can have one machine of 32 terabyte storage, and in existing version, you can go up to 4400 servers. Okay, the latest version that is still not in production, you can very well have a 32 terabyte of machine multiply by 10,000 servers. So that is, so you can put calculations that this is the amount of data you can go about. And yes, you can even have a 64 terabyte server, that's fine. So this is what you can uh, store and do it. Okay, now the question is, can I basically compare Hadoop with Teradata? That's the question. So there are basically two major differences with Hadoop against Teradata. First, Teradata only, so Teradata is a distributed system, and there are two major differences. One, it works only with SQL. That means you'll have to write a SQL query to get your stuff done. In Hadoop, you can write Java code. So basically, that means the expression power of a developer increases when it comes to having a programming framework that is much more flexible, because in programs you can explain or express yourself the way you want. Okay, now how exactly is so I hope that answers. The second difference is Teradata typically has central storage and powerful nodes to process data. Okay, Hadoop has all the nodes with its own storage and its own processing. But we'll get there. I mean, while this, if you get to details, you'll understand that Hadoop, every guy has its own storage and its own processing, whereas in Teradata, the storage is at the same central location and everybody is just processing that. Okay, so the question is, how do you characterize Hadoop zone? It all depends on your business. Okay, so let's say your existing warehouse gives a report for 10 terabytes, or yeah, 10 terabytes of data in 6 hours, but your business wants it in 2 hours. You already know you are in big data zone. Or there can be a case that your existing data warehouse has become non-performant, absolutely non-performant, when data goes above a certain size. And that is something you'll have to see, play with it and see that whether it's the performance is acceptable or not. So there is no one formula saying that this amount of data go for big data, because it all depends on your expectations of the system. And it's, let's put it this way, it's a trial and error for every system that you have. All right. Yeah. Yes, guys, go ahead with the question. Okay. So yeah, if there are no questions, we are done with the demonstration. And yeah, hopefully see you at the course.
Hey Ravi, what are going to be the timings? Is it the same time?
Timings would be 8:30 p.m. EST to 10 p.m. EST.
Okay. For how many days do you think this will run?
This will go around for 26 sessions, and we will start with 5 sessions per week. So should be 5 weeks affair.
Okay. And at the end of the course, will I get additional resources where I can access all the content?
So let's put it what exactly you'll be getting with this course. You'll be getting a training bundle
Hmm.
that will have a VM image, and you have a lifetime access to that because it's on your local box only.
Okay. It's Cloudera, right?
No, this will be our bundled VM with, yeah, it will have Cloudera Hadoop, but it is not Cloudera VM. So we basically created our VM and we installed Cloudera Hadoop, and it is not set up because if you get Cloudera Hadoop VM, it is already set up, so you don't have anything to do. Here, you will be
Okay.
setting up the Hadoop. That's a part of the exercise. So you've just got
Okay.
Hadoop downloaded. From there, you will be setting up all the bare bones. It will be bare bones structure, and you will be building everything on your own, and that's part of the
Okay.
exercise. Okay. After that, you get all the presentations. You will get all the hands-on exercises. That's what you would be getting. And
Okay.
this VM, yeah, it's on your, it will be on your laptop, so that means you don't even require internet to access that. In the sense, you can sit in a
Okay.
coffee shop, no Wi-Fi, also still you can get your job done.
And of course, with additional study, do you think this will prepare us for pursuing any certifications?
Okay, you don't really require too much of additional study also. Yes,
Mhm.
Panish, give me a minute. After this course, there are two possible things that you can do. First is Hadoop Developer Certification. So take this course plus read chapter number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of Hadoop Definitive Guide, and you will certainly clear the certification. The only catch is you should at least learn how to quickly understand a Java program. Around 18 questions are having a Java code, and you need to quickly interpreting it. Got it? For Hadoop developer, for Hadoop administrator, this course is 100% because there is no prerequisite like Java. OB, non OB and admin. Got it? Yes, 1 minute, 1 minute. So first we'll unmute Fanish. Yeah, Fanish. Yeah, Fanish. You are unmuted, Fanish. You need to right click on your name and unmute yourself. Shiva, yeah, logistical issues like fees and all, Satish will be the right person to talk to. Fanish, you need to unmute yourself, Fanish. Fanish, yeah, right click on your name, Fanish, and say unmute, Fanish. Yeah, I have unmuted you. Fanish, you are unmuted, Fanish. And Prasanna, you are also unmuted. Yeah,
Hi, this is Prasanna here. Are you
yeah,
able
hi,
to hear me?
Prasanna. Go ahead, Prasanna.
Hi. Yeah, so you said like the Java is mandatory for learning the Hadoop developer. So is it a prerequisite we have to know some sort of basic Java, or like is it has to be complete Java?
So let's put it this way. Okay, for this course, if you just want to take this course, there are no prerequisites because whatever is required, okay, I'll impart that to you. But let's say after the course, you want to basically apply for a developer job or certification. Java is mandatory. When I say Java is mandatory, core Java is mandatory. How good you should be in Java? As good as you can be, because if you know how regular expressions work in Java, uh, how, let's say, sorting, filtering, all those things could be done in Java. That will be a massive advantage, but it's only core Java. Got it?
Okay.
So, like, mm,
Yeah, go ahead.
hey, as you said that you give the unlimited access. So, is that something like we need to log into your servers and get the access, or do we get that image
No, you will get image on your
like
laptop.
transfer?
I'll be sharing it on G Drive, and you can download it and it will stay with you forever.
So, will you help us in installing it?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. So session number 5 is all about that. So you'll be getting training bundle at the end of session 4. It's like a welcome kit. It will be a 3 GB file,
Uh-huh.
so you will download it offline at your convenience. Once you've downloaded, I'll show you how to basically install and make it work. So on a high level,
And
just I'll show you how this will look like.
so, can you can send us this course schedule if you can?
Oh, sure, sure, sure.
And also, like, all these sessions recorded,
Oh yes, all the sessions are recorded, and if you miss a session, that will
and you
be
will send
made
us.
available to you on demand.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
So if you miss a session, okay, it will be made
Okay.
available to you on demand basically. So if you miss a session, yeah, you can request Satish and he'll share that recording with you.
Is that not like on an everyday basis sharing, or what is it? What's do you so
Yeah, I think those,
usually all the trainings?
yeah, those
So if I
logistical things.
even if I don't miss the training,
Okay, yeah, yeah. I think
even
you'll
if
have
I
to
don't
talk
miss the
to
training, if you
Satish regarding that. So all the scheduling, fees and everything, yes, Satish would be the guy who would be best to answer. So Satish, you are there? Satish? Yeah. So he'll just be around. Okay. So let's say this is what you get. You will get a CentOS based virtual machine like this, and we'll be through.
Ravi, I'm there. Yeah, yeah, Ravi.
Yes, Satish. This Fanish had a question regarding the recordings. Hello. Okay, so what you get is a VM which will look like this.
Ravi, I'll talk to Panish after the session, okay?
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
you guys will get permanent access to this. Permanent access in the sense this will be on your laptop only, which is CentOS, and you can just play with it the time you want. So you want to run some Hadoop commands or something, you will be setting up Hadoop first, and okay. All right. So this is what you get. It will be on your Windows machine also. Now that was about the VM that you get. Second was regarding videos. Yes, Satish will be the right person to talk to regarding that. And third thing is about the schedule. So overall, the schedule would look like this. Session one, or let's put it on a high level, session one to four, we would only be talking about introduction to Hadoop and how it works. Okay. In session 5, and from session 5 to 10, we would do hands-on. We would do multi-node setup, that's automated and multi-node automated, and multi-node manual. Okay. Session 11 would be, or if you go session 11, yeah, there's only one session which will be separate. It's cluster planning. How do I start planning my cluster? Session 12 to 14 will be Hadoop development. Okay. Session 15 to 20 would be Hadoop BI. So there you will be learning Pig Hive and Pentaho integration. Okay. Session 21 to 25 will be Hadoop administration. Okay. And session 26 would be last session and the test. Okay. In Hadoop BI, we would actually have one session on how Hive works, one session on how Pig works. You'll have two sessions on Pentaho, and doesn't come in Hadoop BI, but there'll be an additional session on introducing HBase. HBase is not part of Hadoop BI, but it's a NoSQL database. So we'll just touch base that and see what is HBase. All right. Yeah. So the question is the PC reinstallable, available in all? It will be available on G Drive all the time. So let's put it this way, till we decide to shut down the shop and stop this entirely and give away Google's enterprise storage, everything would stay on G Drive. And yes, a month before, in case we are really going out of this online stuff, we let you know a month before so that you can maintain one copy in your Dropbox or G Drive account. Okay. Yeah, but otherwise it will always be there on G Drive. The URL will be with you, shared with you, and you will never have to worry even if your system crashes. Yeah. So this is overall schedule. Yes, guys. Any other questions? Yeah, feel free to put them here. Yeah, hi Venkat. I think yeah, you put one question on. Okay, is Java mandatory or Python or PHP would do? Correct. The point is for certification, yes, Java is mandatory. For most job openings on Hadoop developer, most job openings, let's put it like 85% developer openings, Java is mandatory. There are few companies here and there that instead of Java use Ruby on Rails or Python. Any chance I'll be telling about AWS? Our multi-node setup would be done on AWS only. Okay. Having said that, this is not a cloud course, so we will restrict our questions to okay, I purchased a machine on rent and we are using it for working. But otherwise, we'll not have a session on how Amazon works, what you can do, what you cannot do, and all that stuff. So we will talk about it only from the usage perspective that uh, we go to Amazon, we purchase machines, we log into them, and we are using them. And you will see how to set up Hadoop on AWS. Yes. Yeah, S3 will not be part. So Amazon S3 will, there's a separate course on cloud. So this is Hadoop course, and S3 would come into how to use Amazon for different purposes. But what we will be showing you during this is how to basically launch a EC2 machine and everything. Yeah, yeah. How many hours in a session? We'll typically have classes for 90 minutes, anywhere between 75 to 90 minutes every day. Tentative start date tomorrow is a Monday. We are expecting to start tomorrow, but we'll communicate that to you. Yeah. We'll communicate that to you. So as per the schedule, we don't have any class on weekend. Okay, but we can take a long class on weekend, provided everybody is free. So a lot of times, what we see is people have plans on weekend, but if everybody agrees, I'll be more than happy to take like a 3 hour per day class on weekend. So it will be, let's say, 3 hours on Saturday and 3 hours on Sunday. So if it's agreed upon that, yeah, we'll keep aside 2 weekends for this, we can basically wind up the course faster. So not exactly, just that you will get 3 major assignments to be done on your own, and those, basically you will get all the background, but as far as effort is concerned, you'll have to basically invest your time to make sure it's done. And yeah, we can spend time in the class to discuss how to solve that. But yes, you'll have to do the entire groundwork of, because we cannot do that entire thing here in the class, because then you'll not learn anything basically. So yes, you'll be getting 1 week time for every assignment to complete. And yes, we'll have classes where we discuss if there is some issue. So well, it's yes and no. The point is, yes, if there is an email that, I mean, I can respond, I'll respond. But having said that, is there any official kind of uh, project support that a lot of students ask uh, after the course? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Yeah, because uh, it's been like we travel a lot, so sometimes it becomes difficult to basically give that SLA kind of a thing that okay, I can help. So let's put it this way, that yeah, if there is an email seeking some help, uh, I can respond. But some kind of official support where okay, I'm getting into a project, can you help me with first few weeks and all? Yeah, that is not possible really. Unfortunately, the bandwidth is not there at all. Yeah. All right, guys. I guess we are okay. So, do you recommend this course people with no Java background? Again, let's be honest. The answer is yes and no. No. If you want to take this course and apply for a Hadoop developer job. Yes, if you want to take this course and apply for, say, other roles other than developer. Yeah. So if you're not from Java background, that's fine. And if you want to pursue, let's say, data analyst or data scientist, I would not recommend. Data scientist is way too difficult, way too much things to be known, and it's more like a mindset thing. I mean, it's not just that one can become data scientist. Data analyst would be a slightly easier thing to do, because data analyst is, you just need to know SQL, and then it's all about practice. Correct. Mm. Got it. So without having a Java background, also you can certainly understand everything in the course. You will still be able to do the assignments. The idea is that, see, when you go for, let's say, applying for a job, people expect a lot out of you. Okay, that is where things would get, difficult. That's it. Otherwise, for course perspective, 100% you can just. All right, guys. So that's about it on my side. And see you guys hopefully at the course. Take care, guys. Yeah, have fun. Okay, see you guys. Yeah, and I'll be passing this session notes to you so you can get in touch with Satish, and if you need this notes, they'll be available to you. And yes, yeah, and if you want the recording of this demonstration also, you can get it from Satish. Okay, guys. Yeah, all right.